Okay, I'll do a quick video. I don't know how quick, but I'm gonna do a video about a project I'm working on. I've got a couple different ones going on right now. This one is I'll go ahead and show you the cover sheet and stuff for it. It's called Cofield's Literary Celebration. The easiest way to do this probably is literally to read to you what the proposal I've written says. The Cofield Literary Celebration is an event to be held in Knott County in the spring of 2019. It is to be a one-day event designed to celebrate and showcase authors and literature from the Cofield region of the state. The celebration will consist of local organizations and sponsors helping to facilitate the opportunity to showcase and celebrate the literature and authors of this wonderful area. That wording is very important. We have in the past had some things that may in their description have been described that way, but in actuality that's not what they were. The big thing being it will celebrate local authors, not authors from out of state who write about this area or have visited the area or write about the West Virginia Cofields or write about the Pennsylvania Cofields. It won't be authors from Lexington, Louisville, Bowling Green who write about our region from afar in an opinionated manner, or write about the bluegrass area of Kentucky or the western coalfields of Kentucky. It would be for actual authors actually from the Cofield region being honored. Don't know how many times I've heard things portrayed as being local authors that for Eastern Kentucky, that those people don't live anywhere near Eastern Kentucky. So that's kind of the ideal for the program. Now to break this down, and that's really what this video is for, is a full breakdown of this proposal. The event will be broken down in this video in a tentative schedule that obviously can't be put into a permanent fashion at this point based on where it is. A committee will need to be formed to handle some decisions that will need to be made to vote on awards that may be given at this. That's something we're considering. Ideally this will be a committee of 8 people, with at least 3 being local authors. 3 members consisting of press or local organizations that are involved with the arts community, and that leaves you with 2 remaining spots. They need to not be authors, but to me, ideally those spots will be filled by teachers. The committee will also be responsible for the duties, for other duties that'll be mentioned once everything is kind of hammered out for this. The goal would be to have this event be an annual thing and do so on a ideally it being in Knott County every year would be great for Knott County, but that may not be feasible, but at least for it to happen every year. The biggest goal for this event is for it to operate totally on donations, at least this first year. And I say that and I specify the first year because it's going to be such short notice. Maybe a grant deal could possibly come through in the future, but it's very important that there's no cost for people to come view this and experience this, and there's no cost for vendors or authors to set up and sell and display their work. that stifles the whole thing. If it's an expense for everybody, these people are not making huge amounts of money off of this, and it's something to honor our literary history here in the mountains, and to afford people the chance to continue to do these things. And if we make it about profit, then that's not going to work. That won't benefit small independent authors. I've got a set of tentative requirements, but these, for the most part, in order to keep this true to what it's supposed to be, will have to be somewhat followed. The authors must have been born, or they must have been born in or currently reside in the Coalfields area of the state. The map that I showed earlier and stuff, that the Coalfield area, the authors need to have been born here or live here currently, or spent a 10-year period here at some point in time. Special guests can be from outside that area, but will be considered only after or if local artists are not in a number large enough to fill the event to capacity. Obviously, we have to give that room to local people, and then if left over, it's good to bring in those outside. It actually, regardless, it will be good to have those outside influences. All speakers must be of Coalfield's origin as defined in the first requirement, unless the same circumstances exist in regards to number of participants. All speakers are not required to be authors. Important community figures and other artists can be speakers, as well as members of family or friends representing local artists who have passed away. Special guests are not required to be authors as long as their impact is of a nature consistent with the goal of the celebration. All vendor spots are open and offered to authors first. This can include books of photography. If any positions are then left, they can be offered to other artists and craftspeople of different disciplines. All vendor spots will be free of charge, but must be approved prior to award and setup. Approval will be based on the criteria expressed in these points and to the best of the ability to do so under them. Newspapers will be considered as a part of local history. I think that's very important. I think they document so much of history, and there's a literary pursuit to some degree there, so newspapers are very important. So they will be allowed positions to vendor display. These vendor spots, as they are called, are not required to be used for sales. They would just as greatly be appreciated as shows of work from single authors or groups. So you don't have to sit up and sell something, but it, the opportunity is there. For this first one in Knott County, and this is coming very early on, and this is just a personal thing for me. The idea is to pitch this to other people and bring other people in on this, but as the proposal is written up, the desired space to be used, if it can be obtained by donation, is the Knott County Sportsplex. The event would be divided into 3 areas of involvement. You have a very large spot there, and basically you want to split this event up into the exhibition side of it with the vendors and areas to exhibit things, and then also various panels and speaking engagements. So a large part of the event would consist of authors being given the chance to speak to those in attendance. This will come in the form of live readings, lecture, and panel discussions. This would also be the point at which special guest speakers be allowed to speak. The following pages will have a list of possible events. I'm going to give you guys kind of what I would kind of like to see happen with it. Vendor stalls would be the second tier of this. So the 3 things that we're going to that you'll look at to have involved in this, you're looking at an area for the speaking engagements and the panels. Now, vendor stalls. This will give local authors the opportunity to meet others and offer their work for sale. This is a very important part of helping to strengthen our local authors and help them to afford the ability to pursue the work on a continuing basis. Again, we need to allow them to get their work out and sell it or give it away, talk about it, whatever. Exhibition. This will allow for display and sharing of local authors' work, as well as pictures, books, and items pursuant to the honoring of said authors. This could and should involve participation from local schools, grade schools, high schools. Let them have, different activities that they could get involved in, writing, poetry, and displaying these things. It'd be great for civic organizations, churches, especially libraries, local libraries to be involved in this, as well as aforementioned newspapers. It would be great for them to get involved with this. Local colleges, it would be nice to see them involved. Any local museums, anything of that nature. A very big part of this exhibition, in my opinion, should include something that amazing that has happened at Knott County Central that is getting no recognition whatsoever. The teacher there has submitted a project to the Freedom Riders, the people that made the movie about, the actual organization. It's been accepted, acknowledged, and highly praised through them, even making it into their national yearbook for last year, and it's an amazing project called We Are Not Alone. It's just not getting any local attention whatsoever, honestly, and that's sad. So this would be a good time to show something like that. This, when I present this to people, this is going to be just, this is so hard to read because of the light. Actually, you can't see it at all because of the light. But this is basically just a rough schedule, something that you can look at as an ideal of how it may break down. An 8 a.m. door opening with vendors and exhibition sites all open. 10 a.m. live presentation would begin. Start from a reading from a local author that would be chosen via vote online prior to the event. Followed by an opening speech to be given by a to be determined individual, and the preceding events will be determined as participants are added. 12 noon, a lunch break. 1 p.m. a group of authors and others will read poetry and short story selections. 2 p.m. a panel will discuss storytelling and its influence on mountain literature. 3 p.m. following a short break, a panel will discuss the history of literature in the coal fields. 5 p.m. after a short break, a panel of authors will speak and answer questions on getting published and trying to pursue writing as a viable income. 6 p.m. possible award ceremony. 7 p.m. guest speakers will begin and go into the conclusion, at which point a representative of this event will give a closing statement about the event. So that gives you an outline of what this thing hopefully would be. And that light is killing me, but there it is. That's the logo one. Again, it's called the Coalfields Literary Celebration. So if anybody has any input on it or any comments about it, or know any authors that may be interested, tag them in this post, or forward them this link to this video, and kind of help me get the word out, and maybe get some people talking.